Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to take you through important aspects from Learning Unit 4 and 5. So at this point in the course, you should have completed some of your ICE tasks, if not all, and had an opportunity to submit assignment 1. Once you've done with assignment 1, I'm going to mark that, and then I'm going to pull out key areas that I think everybody struggled with, or tips for assignment 2, and then I'll post a video just as I did with assignment 1, helping you with information to complete assignment 2. Just to remember that this is your opportunity to score marks because your written unseen exam is your summative, and that will be written at the campus. So here you have the time to go through your work to make sure that it's correct, to engage with me and check that you are comfortable before you submit. Okay. At this point, I want to go over management structures with you, and then a little later, we're going to go over goals and the planning that organizations do. So in terms of management, there are 3 levels of management that exist within an organization, all equally important and all with various goals that they have to do and roles that they take. So every organization has 3 levels of management, ranging from your top or upper management, middle management, and lower management. Each of these areas or part of the hierarchical structure work together to achieve the ultimate goal and mission and vision statement of the organization. All right. So again, management requires 3 types of skills: conceptual skills, which is the ability to think and forecast and predict and problem solve; interpersonal skills, which is people skills, the ability to talk and liaise with each other; and technical skills, which is the actual ability to do the type of work that you are in business with. So I want to mention that all levels of management require all 3 types of skills. But dependent on the level of management that they use a dominant skill, and that is the skill that they require the most of because of their role and task that they complete. So if we look at the top management, they are your CEOs, your board of directors, your CFOs. They are responsible for setting the vision and mission statement and achieving the overarching goals for the organization. Because of this, they set goals for the company. It's their responsibility to forecast and predict where the organization is going, and they therefore need more conceptual skills, which is that thinking skill. Once they have set the overarching goals for the organization, they then transfer those goals to middle management. Your middle management is the managers that sit at the different functional areas of the organization. So all the different departments that you have, your marketing department, your finance department, accounting, operational, IT, etc., etc., they are your middle management. They are responsible for taking charge of their department and ensuring that their department functions in a profitable manner. So what they do is they take the goals from your top management and they break it down into suitable goals for their department. They then transfer those goals to supervisors or lower level managers. So what do they require in terms of skill set is the ability to liaise with different employees. They literally are the middleman between top and lower level managers, and it's therefore their responsibility to take that big goal and break it down for supervisors. So they require interpersonal skills or people skills as their dominant skill. Your lower level managers usually consist of supervisors, and their responsibility is to lead out the task. So we say that they need technical skills or predominantly technical skills. They lead out day-to-day activities with the employees on the floor. And the reason for this is if you think about going into a store and you are cashing up your groceries and the cashier swipes something twice. They then call their supervisor who comes in and voids that item. That supervisor needs to understand the tasks that the employees are doing in order to assist them with that. And so it's that technical skills that they require. It's very rare that the cashier will then go and call the CFO to come and help them void that item. Okay, if that CFO comes, we're not sure if they even know how to void it. So every level of management is important, and every level of manager needs the required skills, but they, according to their task that they provide, they use a dominant skill. So later on, we're going to speak about how goals work within an organization, and we're going to see how they all come together to achieve the goals, the overarching goal. But if management doesn't look daunting enough, we go on to the roles of management. Now, on your screen, you will see different types of roles. And at a first glance, you'll probably think our business has to employ different types of managers to fulfill all these roles. And that is simply not the case. One manager in the management role, whether it's upper, middle, or lower management, at some point in time serves all of these purposes. Maybe not at once, maybe some simultaneously, but they switch between the different hats suited to this problem or the scenario that they face. All right. So one manager wears all these hats. So the management sort of serves three important functions: the informational role, where they deal with information, the interpersonal role, where they share information and deal with people, and a decisional role, where they make decisions and for the organization. So, in the informational role, it is their responsibility to monitor scenarios, to monitor the environment, both internal and external, gather information, sort of sift through that information and determine which is suitable for which type of audience and disseminate, which means to share that information. They then are the spokesperson for the organization or for their department or the team that they lead, because they are the one that speaks on behalf of their team or their department. Okay. A manager represents their team at higher up meetings. So you will not find all the employees going to the board meeting, but they speak for their team. In terms of interpersonal skills, they have to be seen as a leader, okay? Somebody that is somebody that the employees can trust and go to them in terms of a figurehead. And they often liaise between people. So they liaise between the employees and the next level of management, the employees and external stakeholders. They bring and share information and take information out. In terms of the decisional roles, an entrepreneur serves as that innovator, that thinker, and that is entrepreneurship. They also help with disturbance handling, and within that role, a negotiator. So if for the unfortunate circumstance a company has employees who are protesting, you will see that the management level or the manager for that department will go in, take all the information that the employees are giving them, liaise between the next level of management, come back with some type of negotiation, go back and forth until they handle that disturbance and everything goes back to normal. In terms of a resource allocator, they have all the resources and it is their responsibility to allocate to the projects that are going to give them the most amount of profit. All right. So just by saying that, you will see that one person can go through a variety of these simultaneously. All right. If there is a crisis and employees are on protest action, they have to monitor the environment, they have to gather information, they then have to take that information, liaise between the different levels of management, bring back some sort of information, share it with their teams in terms of dissemination, negotiate with their teams, take that back as a figurehead to the management levels, lead their team by solving that disturbance. So one scenario can make a manager go interchangeably between all these different hats. All right. And they need to know which one they need to change between to ultimately achieve the goals of the organization. So you will see that for most of your assessments, you are tested with a scenario. So after your first assignment, going forward, I'm going to pull out questions, scenarios from past papers, and we're going to go through them so that you get an understanding of how these things are tested in the exam. All right. So at New Link Ltd, the CEO, Mr. Smith, recently outlined a new strategic vision for the company. He communicated his plan to department heads who are responsible for breaking it down into actionable goals for their team. Meanwhile, supervisors on the factory floor need to ensure that employees follow the new safety protocols and meet production targets set by Mr. Smith. All right. When you get something like this, I want you to please go to your questions just to scan it. It will then give you an understanding of what you are looking for. So questions say identify the level of management for the CEO, department heads, and supervisors. What are the key managerial skills at each level? And then which managerial role would be most relevant to the department heads when they communicate the CEO's vision to their teams? So now when I go back to my scenario, I know what I'm looking for. And this becomes really helpful when you're dealing with longer case studies, right? I'm looking for the level of management. So Mr. Smith, CEO, right on top, department heads in the middle, so middle management, supervisors at the bottom, dealing with the employees, lower level management. What skills do they need? Mr. Smith is my top management, conceptual skills. Departmental heads I've identified as middle management, they need interpersonal skills. Supervisors have I been identified as my lower level management, they need technical skills. All right. Then I have my department heads who are taking information from top management and disseminating it to lower level management. What are they doing? They are sharing information. So they are using the disseminator cap. All right. That technique is going to allow you to quickly pull out information from long case studies. All right. So the next aspect is very much linked to the first one. We spoke a lot about setting goals for the organization and how do we set goals and who sets goals and how do we achieve them. But it is very important that when we set goals, we do so in such a way that everybody understands them. So in an organization, you have people that are sitting right at the top as CEOs and board of directors, and people that are sitting right at the bottom completing your everyday tasks. We have a variety of different people, different skills levels, people who use different languages as their first language, and we need to make sure that everybody in the organization understands the goals that we set. A goal doesn't have to look fancy, but it must be realistic and achievable, and so that everybody understands it. If people don't understand your goals, then that is a failure on your part because they can't achieve it. So we need to be very careful as managers when we set goals that we do so without setting our employees up for failure. So we then say that goals must be set according to a SMART criteria. So when we say this, we don't mean that goals must be clever, but we say that we must set it up according to an acronym, which is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So I'm going to give you an example of how you can confuse your employees by not setting a SMART criteria. If I say to you that you need to complete the assignment for this module in order to get a decent formative mark, okay, that's your goal. You can come 2 years later and complete the assignment and give it to me and expect to pass this course because I did not give you details on when and what needs to be done. All right. Then I close the assignment submission today and you come tomorrow and I'm like, sorry, but it's due, but I didn't tell you when it's due. Okay. So similarly in an organization, saying things like we need to increase profits. That doesn't mean anything. People don't know how much, when, by how to do it, what is acceptable, what is not. But if you say to your employees, we need to achieve a 10% increase in profit by next month in order to show growth. You are being clear and specific. You are giving them something that they can measure, so 10%. It must be attainable and realistic. We can't expect the marketing manager to produce a new IT program or an IT person to produce a marketing campaign. It must be something that they can achieve, because if you can't achieve it and it's not realistic, I'm going to lose hope and I'm not going to even try. And there has to be a time element. I have to tell you when I need it. Okay. Now, we get three types of goals: strategic goals, tactical goals, and short term goals. Strategic goals are normally 5 to 10 years, tactical goals 1 to 3, short term goals daily, less than a year. Strategic goals are set by the top management, tactical goals by middle management, and short term goals by lower level management. What is important to remember is that these goals are all linked to each other. So your CEO and the top management will set the vision and mission statement. Your middle level managers take that statement, pull out what is required for their departments, and then set goals for their departments. Their supervisors take those goals and say, right, how do I break this up into achievable daily goals, routine goals? But ultimately, as they are working towards achieving their goals, they are working towards achieving the main strategic goal. So let me give you an example of this. All right. Your strategic goal is to graduate with a BCom in entrepreneurship. Your tactical goals is to pass each module. All right. Your daily goals is to complete the tasks, the formatives, to study every day, to prepare yourself for the summative. As you prepare yourself for the daily goals, the summative, the formative, studying, understanding the content, you're working yourself one step closer to passing the modules. As you pass the modules each year, you're moving yourself one step closer to wearing the graduation garment and graduating with your degree. So ultimately, your strategic goals is broken down into smaller attainable portions, which is your tactical goals, which is then broken down into your short-term goals, which is your daily goals. Every goal must be related to the ultimate main goal. We can't have your strategic goal to graduate, your tactical goal to pass every module, but your short-term goals is to go out every weekend and not study. We are not achieving the ultimate goal. So it all has to be linked. In doing so, we then draw emphasis to the importance of different levels of management. Your top management can sit there and create those high thinking plans. Your departmental heads can take those those goals and break it down for their departments. But if the employees at the bottom are not liaising with their supervisors, right at the bottom is where all your goals start to fail. Okay, and that's what I want to do with this course is I want to show you the linkage between each learning unit and the ultimate goals and outcomes for this module. So I wish you the very best with your assignment submission. As usual, please feel free to contact me if you need anything. I'm always available to chat with you. Take care.